doing. But then there's other artists I see, and sometimes when you look at their art, it's going like, okay, it's too cookie cutter. I'm not saying them without getting into names or everything.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, do you think that sometimes that some of our artist community are too busy trying to appeal to the masses?
Well, that's what they feel they have to do. And I cannot hold it against them if that works for them. For me, it's definitely the love of what I do. Excuse me, I got the sweetest compliment. A woman says, your cards are dancing. I say, yes, they are, because when I am creating them, I am dancing and singing. And I love the color and the texture and the style, and I love the feel. I love it all. So for me, it's a big party going on. I'm a midnight quilter, and around midnight, the house is jumping, and the folks are saying, hush, we need to sleep in here. But I'm having so much fun because I literally love what I do.
Yeah, you definitely love what you do. And that shows in everything that you do, definitely, Willa, and everything. Stefan, if you're still on the line with us and everything,
yes.
I was wondering, do you wind up doing, because I know that Louise does the artwork and she's kind of the face of the artist and everything because she's the one creating this artwork, but are you the one that's doing most of the marketing? Because that's the impression I got from the show is S.H.I.N.E, that a lot of, that was kind of your role, was to be more of the marketing kind of wing of this husband-wife kind of enterprise.
Yeah, I mean it's a team effort, obviously, and I think I wouldn't do it if like Louisa wouldn't do it from her heart, and I think it because it's genuine, because it's authentic. I've seen people react very positively, so I told her, you know, I'm here for you. I mean, I'm here to help. I do have a day job, but it's okay. I mean, there's always some extra hours in the evening, and it's definitely worth doing because, again, as she said, I mean, pretty much everything is possible. So if we don't try, we don't know. And now that she has a message to convey, she wants to share it. So she's sharing it. People react very positively. So it's only one step, and there are many others coming.
And what I can
no, go ahead.
as well, what I can say as well, of course, I needed Stefan to help me because when you're an artist, you're not marketing, of course, but it doesn't mean we're stupid. So I always say to myself, I think you need to work with your soul first. I couldn't do what I've done if it was only for money. I needed to express myself through that message because I love working for others. It's a really deep message, and I really consider what I'm doing as sorry for this word, but as a mission. I think all artists should show their artwork. When I met so many artists, they said, no, I don't want to show my art. And I said, why are you an artist? Because usually real artists, they have to show their work. They have to show who they are. If you don't show who you are, nobody will meet you. Nobody will know you. I don't try to force people to love my work. I try people to believe of the subject I decided to do. And I think it's really important nowadays as a woman, as a mother, and I think as an immigrant as well. So that's why I think it's not only a matter, of course I met a lot of artists who just want to work for money. They're not even interested to do charity shows. I did. I always gave before, a long time ago, gave my painting for free. I used to do that. I think you really need to be really generous instead of thinking first about money. You know, when you think about Modigliani, unfortunately, he died really poor. There's lots of artists who were really, hopeless. They didn't have anything at the end of the day. So, but you can see today, all the, the market, the art market, they speculate on this kind of artists. Even Andy Warhol, they're all coming from the scratch. And I can say from myself, I work hard. I prove myself I was an artist. Even when I arrived here, I needed to go to the Art Student League to show. I was going every day, morning, afternoon, evening. I was trying to paint, to draw, to do realism, to do everything to prove myself. And one day my maestro came to me and he said, Louisa, you have to believe you're a true artist. You have to get out of this school, even if it's your studio, because the world has to see your pieces. When you hear that, you have the words you needed to hear. And that's why I said to myself, okay, maybe nobody knows me at the beginning. It's fine. It's okay. But you can do something for others. And it's why I decided to do that project. And I'm so proud because I start from nothing. Stefan helped me. We did everything from our own expenses, and now people realize it's amazing project because we're using augmented reality, we're using technology, and we're using the traditional part and modern part, and that's really unique.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely,
you.
and definitely. And one of the things I was wondering from both you, Louise and Willa, is that sometimes when you see artists, like even when we show art at Haytown, where I work at, one of the places I work at, and even art at around the Arts Council and different other galleries and everything, and I'm sure it's the same with galleries in New York, is that sometimes I wonder, do you think the audience has enough understanding of art? Because sometimes they will see an art piece and they'll see it priced, and then they'll like get what I call sticker shock. And I'm sometimes wondering, do they not understand how much the artist has put into it? Now, I get what you're saying, Louisa, that sometimes you might decide to give the art as a gift or give it as charity, as you said earlier, and everything. But I also sometimes wonder if sometimes the audience and the general audience doesn't understand the merit of art. And I sometimes wonder if that comes back in the States to education, because I'm knowing that in other countries, I'm thinking that in Paris, y'all are definitely very much about the arts in your education and kind of that traditional arts as a form of education and everything. But I'm wondering if we've kind of gotten away from that in the States. So I was wondering what your impression was, Louisa, as you've lived here now for 5 years, and definitely, Willa, if you would chime in as well, because I sometimes wonder, one, if we have a true understanding of art, and two, if we're not doing enough art education, meaning educating our public about art in general.
I think we need to speak about art inside different schools. I did a project in a public school, middle school. It was a middle school of my daughter, public school. So they didn't have enough pencil, like paintings. And so I said, no worries, I'm going to find a way to find everything for free so you won't have to pay anything. So when I did that project for the weekend, the kids from 2 years old to maybe 16 years old, they were all impressed. They all loved being involved. And I realized how people love art. And I think while I realized, art today, the art world is quite complicating because it's really politics, to be honest, and the market is really complicated as well. And so you need to be part of galleries to be able to be featured in different art fairs, and you have to pay a lot of money. So, but what I believe now, we have a new way to show you pieces through Instagram, Facebook, internet, website. And what I did through S.H.I.N.E is, I just gave some time and I said I would love to collaborate with people like that. Even I did that in a company, financial company. Nobody would think you can, an artist, because I said to myself, if gallery don't accept me, I will go inside different places. So to be able to be accepted in a way is how I find my way. And I hope the arts will be easier in the future, and I believe we will have more women now because we really live in an era of women, and that's it. So I really want to believe about new generation. People should never forget art. It's such a great expression and such a loving thing to do, and different medium, of course, and we have to follow our road trip, and we have to believe of the art, of the creativity, and it's all about love in a way. When you read true artists, you think first about emotion, love. I couldn't paint without emotion. The project I did, I couldn't do it if I didn't have any feeling from my portrait. It was a long process when I had to question all that exceptional women from different countries, and I needed to draw before, to have questionnaire, and to have long interviews before doing my project. So it's quite challenging, but it's worth it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Willa, what was your answer to that?
I think the bottom line is a child having access to the arts, be it in the community or the school, and it depends on the instructor that leaves an impression with that child. Sometimes they can educate the art right out of them. They have to be this particular color, that particular size. I think the freedom allowing them to express themselves will go a long way, but it has to be introduced. I love the scrap exchange there in Durham, North Carolina, because it allows for creativity to flow. You can go in and get a bag full of stuff and create the most beautiful art, and little people have the opportunity to do things they don't normally do. They get to think, express, and hands-on, whereas in a formal setting, they can only do so much. But I also think it comes from the love, the parents, and the persons they spend time with. If they are energetic about the arts and are willing to let the little ones to be expressive, it can develop a love for the arts that will be a lifelong adventure. But it has to come from exposure.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely you have to have that exposure. And sometimes I wonder if our school systems aren't doing enough in terms of exposing folks to the arts, or as you said earlier, maybe just giving them too much of the traditional art and not a lot of the arts of different styles.
Yeah, let them express themselves. Give a kid, it's like finding that box. You can buy all the toys in the world, but they get that one box, and that box becomes the house, the refrigerator, the car, the everything. One box. That's creativity. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's what children need. They don't need as much structure when it comes to art. Give them the basics, but then let them just fly.
Let them fly and create their own works of imagination, because sometimes I think that we suppress them. Sometimes I think we suppress the imagination, afraid of where that might take us, but we oftentimes forget that some of the greatest inventions came from people's imagination, because they had no clue that I'm sure the Wilbur parents had no idea that those things were going to actually fly.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. And I would say creativity is freedom. That's why I think that's the word I always speak about. Since I've been here working on my piece, I always work with freedom. And I'm using a lot of gold, because gold is precious, not only for money. It's precious because of life. It's precious about the diversity. It's precious about freedom. And it's such an amazing word. And that's why it's really important to hear the voice like you three, three of us, and thank you so much. Honestly, we need to believe in the art, and we, of course, if we have the chance in the future to sell our piece of art, it will be worth it as well. But, that's the way it is,
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm oftentimes surprised when people have sticker shock over different artwork, and a lot of times I'm thinking about the worth and the amount of time that person put into that work, so it's definitely worth whatever that price is. Now, we do know that in some cases they may put it at that price because they don't necessarily want to sell it at that time. So we also have to understand the history of why people are putting prices at different levels, because sometimes they put that price because it is definitely worth that price, but then there are also cases where they put that price at a high rate because they have no intention of selling it until they're ready to sell it.
Well, that's true, too. But it allows individuals to, when you know your worth, you don't have to be cheap with your product, because the time, the energy, the effort that you have put into a piece of art, it should reflect the cost. So I don't have a problem. If a person, I will never try to talk someone down from the price of their art, because what I am doing is cheapening that person, and I think that's an insult.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. It should definitely be whatever their price is and what they have determined that price to be based on what they feel the energy and everything that they put into it. Because a lot of it is not just the creativity, but the energy, the time, and a lot of times those are factors that are going into the cost and determining what that cost is. So I agree that if you try to talk a person down, a lot of times you're just cheapening them and everything. I'm not even that big of a fan of it, even though I know it's very popular, even in certain craft cultures and everything, meaning like I know that if you